Innovation in the watch industry does not seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Bloomberg's luxury watch guru, Stephen Pulvirent, sat down with the CEO of Parmigiani to talk about how the consumer is changing and why they are now much more interested in what's going on outside of the watch rather than the inside.
It's changing. For the last 10 years, changed a lot. For the past, the collectors for the style of watches we are making, they were very interested by the inside of the watch, by the component, by the watches, by the movement, by the quality of the finishing. And I can realize now that today the consumer is more and more interested by the outside of the watch, by the look, by the style of the watch, more than what happens inside of the watch. And for me, it could be one of the questions we have to have in the Swiss watch industry, to promote, again, much more what happens inside of the watch and not only outside of the watch. And I think it's a real question for the future, yes.
Last year, you celebrated the 10th anniversary of your partnership with Bugatti. Could you tell me a little bit about how that came about and why it's continued for so long?
So Bugatti came 10 years ago to try to sign a license. And I knew very well personally the license business, and I refused it because I know it's very dangerous for a company to get a license because you never are the owner of the license. So we decided and we proposed to Bugatti not to make a license but to make a partnership, so to develop a watch, a specific movement, a specific watch, and to try to sell as many as watches as are selling as much as cars. And not to make a watch for the consumers that they cannot buy the car. So we decided to make a very expensive watches. It's about $300,000 US the watch, and we produce 40 watches a year, like they are producing about 40 cars a year. So it's a nice partnership. It's really for the people that like to have something different.
You have a few hundred points of sale across the world, but 15 boutiques, a few of which are in China. And I was wondering if you can speak a little bit about whether the slowdown there has affected your business at all, or if you see a change in how your markets are shaking out.
Yeah, what is changing is not the Chinese consumer, because the Chinese consumer is still very, very active worldwide. What is changing is where they are buying. But for the moment, the people in America, in US, in Europe, while the Chinese are traveling, they are still buying a lot of watches. In China, they reduce the number of watches I bought for one reason, for the economic reason maybe, but also for the reason of they are fighting about all the problem of backsheesh and all these type of things. And the most important for us is not the Chinese market in China, it's the Chinese consumer in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, the drop was dramatic this year, and it's still dramatic.
It's difficult to have a conversation about watches today without Apple coming up. And a few of your competitors, like IWC and Montblanc, have come out with sort of creative ways to include connectivity without creating an out-and-out smartwatch. Does Parmigiani have any plans to do anything digital or electronic?
No, for many reasons. The first reason that we have no competence, like almost nobody has in Switzerland, honestly. Even if some Swiss companies that try to give impression that will compete with Apple or with other smartwatch. And secondly, the most important, that we have no competence in Switzerland to produce this watch because of the price. So if we are doing to this business, we had to stop to produce Swiss-made watch.
That is the CEO of Parmigiani, Jean-Mark Jacot, speaking with Bloomberg Pursuit's Stephen Pulvirent.